Morning all, we are back down the unit and today we are working on EDD-Gasket, my little Renault 5 turbo engine extra van. So if you watched the last video, you see that it nearly run, but I kind of run out of time and I just sort of kind of gave up with the day. So the aim of the game today is I really want to make it run, but there's a few things I know I need to do. So the fuel line I'm using, I don't know how confident I am with it and it seems very, very mushy. So, I mean, I did buy like half decent branded stuff, but you know, you're just a little bit worried about it. So I need to keep an eye on that. I'm not changing it today. I'm going to roll with it. The exhaust, I put it on this little rubber mount, but it's too high. So the exhaust sort of goes up and then down. I think it needs to hang more because one, it's pushed up against the fuel lines, and two, there's no room for my handbrake cable. It's all tight. So ideally I need to extend that down. But what I might do for now is just undo that, drop it down and then just wire lock it at a sort of an angle so it doesn't touch anything. Also, I haven't actually welded this bit of the exhaust together, so this is still just sleeved inside of itself because, you know, you've seen a video a little while ago I made all the downpipe and that collar. I've already scraped it out. Nice. So yeah, oh, also, obviously I needed some injectors on the hurry up, so I rummaged my toolbox, found some 2 litre Mondeo ones and threw them in. But I've grabbed from my stock at work some Bosch 580 or 590cc fuel injectors, so they're brand new injectors and I just feel a lot happier with them. And they're, you know, they're closer to 600cc, so they're more the size I'm going to need for the power I'm aiming for. So I'm definitely going to fit them injectors first. I'm going to time the engine up to TDC and paint mark the crank. I'm going to get my timing light out. You'll see. Let's just see how it unfolds. Right, let's crack on. So I've got the fuel injectors fitted. I didn't film it, you know what was involved fitting some injectors. Ooh, very nice. I fitted a little inline fuel pressure gauge. I just want to double check the pressure of this. I'm pretty sure it's 3 or 3.5 bar, but always like to be sure. So, literally going to connect the battery. So, connected the battery. I'm just going to turn the ignition on. Fuel pump should prime. Ooh, that's higher than I thought. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong part of the gauge. Just over 3 bar, so 3.2 bar I'd say. Whoa, windscreen washers work. Off, off. Typical Renault, look, wipers don't park. What's that? A Renault with dodgy electrics? Oh, they do park. So, 3.2 bar, I'm going to say, being realistic. Yeah, 3 bars, literally where it sits there, with the pump running 3.2. I'm happy with that. I'm pretty confident in that gauge as well. It's a Cytec gauge. It's normally pretty accurate. So yeah, I'm going to set the base fuel pressure to 3.2 bar. The injectors I'm going to set back to 590cc, and then I'm going to square up the timing. Right, so I've took the spark plug out of cylinder number 1. Number 1 starts at the flywheel end on a Renault 5 turbo engine. This has actually caught me out before. I'm sure it's caught out a load of other people as well, but these are cylinders 1, 2, 3 and 4, not the conventional way. I don't know why. So anyway, I've took the spark plug out of cylinder number 1. I've got the world's most Chinese DTI gauge. And it is sitting with a little piece of wire, a welding wire here. It goes down, it sits on top of the piston. What I've been doing, I've had my ratchet on the crankshaft pulley bolt and I've been rocking it back and forth until I get to true TDC, and I think I'm about there. So what I'm going to do now is I've got some Tipex, and I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to paint mark the crankshaft pulley to the timing cover, so I've got a nice solid reference for TDC. So yeah, get in there slowly. I want to hear it run. That's all I want. I want to hear it run. I'll have a lot more enthusiasm then. This engine bay is so messy and it really, really irritates me. But I need to hear this engine cough. Even if it runs for a couple of seconds, I just need to hear it run. So what I've been up to, I took the distributor out. Obviously I TDC'd it with a little paint mark down there. Sorry, I forgot to show you that. You know what a paint mark looks like? I'll show you anyway. Give you the full tour. So you can just about see the paint mark down there on the side of the pulley, and then the paint mark on the actual timing cover. So when that paint mark down there, just in line with the torch, lines up with that, it's a TDC. I took the rocker cover off, I turned it over and I TDC'd it on number 1. When I TDC'd it on number 1, I took the distributor cap off, and I realised that, like I said in the last video, the little gear that slots sort of down into the edge of the camshaft and onto the oil pump was like a tooth out. So that then put the distributor tooth out. And obviously, as I've got the billet distributor cap with the 22 trigger wheel in here, that being off just throws everything off. So I'm pretty confident that's why it didn't run. I wasn't 100% sure on them injectors I fitted as well. So I fitted some 590s in again, as you see. I've already gone over that, and I've changed it in the software, and I've set the base fuel pressure to 3.2 bar. Hopefully it will cough into life, he says, with no great confidence whatsoever. I've got the laptop, I've got everything set up. I swear to God, on my life, this is genuinely my first time trying to start it today. I'm slightly nervous. I don't know why I always get nervous first start. See, I'm getting... So what's happening when I crank? I keep turning these wipers on. Not annoying at all. When I'm cranking, I'm not getting an RPM signal. I think I've got a bad earth because my battery voltage is dropping to below 8 volts. I can't remember the exact voltage, but I can see the battery voltage on the laptop, and I know that when the ECU voltage drops below a certain volts, I think it's 9, I'm pretty confident that the ECU shuts down. So I'm going to tighten up this negative terminal. I'm going to put my battery support on here as well, because I happen to have that with me today, and hopefully that will bump it up enough that the voltage at the ECU stays pretty decent, and then hopefully it will run a bit better. Worst case, I'll put the live from the ECU straight onto the battery, and maybe that'll make it a bit better. I don't know. I'm just going to have a play, excuse me, and I'll see how it pans out. Oh, fucking laptop's gone to sleep, or gone flat, one of the two, probably flat. No, it's awake, it's not flat yet. Battery support, tripping over everything here. I can see battery voltage. Why is that not going up yet? Oh. Well, it's at nearly 13 volts, so it's definitely doing something. See, the battery voltage on the ECU is dropping to 9 volts. I don't think it is 9 volts because, well, I do think it's 9 volts at the ECU, but the car cranks over way too nice. I'm pretty confident I've got a dodgy ground somewhere, or that live feed to the ECU is probably not enough. So I'm going to run a wire for a fuse. I'm going to fuse the ECU directly to the battery. Yeah, let's do that. So I've hardwired it to the battery, and now look, I'm seeing like 13.5 volts solid. So that's a lot better, I'm pretty sure, because the live that I had feeding the ECU was the original ignition live for like the ignition module that this fan would have run. So I don't think this old school wiring is up to feeding, I don't know, the amp draw that the ECU is requesting. So I'm probably going to use that ignition live to trigger a relay, and then I'll hardwire it to the battery. I still don't know if it's going to start. I've got my laptop balanced very precariously, so I'm kind of going to have to give it a wide angle shot and balance you over here. Whoa, that sounds better. Well, not better, but signs of life's better anyway. Ah, bloody wipers. A lot of ignition timing. Why is it doing that? Definitely something coming into play here. I see it jump up to like fucking 40 degrees ignition advance on cranking. That is too much. close, but I don't know why it's not. Right, I'm gonna have a bit of a play. I think I want to get my timing light out. Obviously I'm still running off the distributor, but if you remember when I put this engine together, I did fit my custom flywheel with a 36:1 trigger wheel, so I might connect that up and change it to 36:1 and see how I get on with that. See, the problem is it's really awkward because I'm here by myself today. I can't crank it and square it up with a timing light because I can't reach. So I need to either find the wire that does the starter motor, run like a button for that so I can crank it while standing here by the side of the van, or I probably need to go and make some more friends. Yeah. Anyway, let's crack on. And we are back. Look what I've got. A friend. So I've got Alex. Alex happened to turn up at just the right time to offload a load of stuff out of his car. And so I got him to crank it over. Yeah, car friend. So I got him to crank it over, and while he cranked it over, I had my timing light, the old dodgy snap-on timing light, and I squared it up. The first tooth angle is actually 50, and I had it set at 80, hence it wouldn't run, I think, or hope. So now it should run. Let's try it. Oh, I'll tell you what I do need to do. I need to unlock ignition angle, like that. So now, big bang. Oh, mate. Like a fucking kitten. Well, a pretty rough kitten. But still, it's closer. Mate, it's closer. What I need is to rev it.
Got some throttle on it.
I think I've got it. Alright, so it definitely needs some work, but that is the most promising sound I've heard all day. Right, let's crack on. So, I've got it running, and when I've got it running, I've noticed I have 2 oil leaks, and it's only run for 30 seconds. Couldn't really work out what it was straight away, so I looked down here, where the pipes from the oil cooler on the end of the rad run into the top of the sandwich plate. All buried down there, you can just see them. I left them loose. I obviously just screwed them in by hand to mock it up and completely forgot to tighten them up. So now I'm gonna have to take all the alternator off to get back at them bolts. So yeah, let's do that. Yep, 100% left them loose. Stripped all the alternator out, and now I've tightened them up. Just gonna wash it off with a bit of brake cleaner, make sure my oil filter's tight. I'm gonna run it like this as well. Obviously I've disconnected the battery at the moment, but definitely run it just to make sure, because there's an oil leak there, there's one over there as well, and I'm not sure where that's coming from. So ooh, I think I found it. It's coming from there. I bet I've left that loose as well. I guarantee you all these oil leaks are human error. Well, obviously they're not going to be the car's fault, are they? Yeah, I left that one loose too, look. I'll plonk that up there. Oil feed, I don't know how well you can see that. That's all wet with oil, so that all needs tightening up, I think. Lovely. Let's crack on and do that. Good to know I've got oil pressure. Yep, 100%. I left the oil feed to the turbo loose. Tighten that up from over here. And then I've tightened them two up, as I said. Sprayed it in brake cleaner. Got the airline out. Blew it all off. My car is bleeding. I've melted all the paint off the block. Look. See, this is why I don't paint blocks. I go to all the trouble to make stuff look nice. And then I forget about it. I thought block paint would be a little bit more resilient. Bearing in mind it's like high temperature paint. And it took me ages to like mask it all up and paint it when I built this engine. And it just washes off with a little bit of brake cleaner. Yeah, well, at least it don't leak oil now. Did give me a shock when I first see it though. Right, let's fire it up again. Let's put the alternator somewhere. It ain't gonna rub on anything. And then make sure we have no oil leaks. Right, let's crack on. Oh, it's dodgy earth, man. I say dodgy earth. My fault, it's not tight. Nailed it. You know what? I'm sure that'll be fine. I'm putting it back together. Still a long way to go. But mate, happy with that. Dialed in the injectors a bit better, set the base idle, went over a few parameters, and it runs. Lovely, it runs. Right, I need to sort out that exhaust and fuel lines and the handbrake cables. But this is a lot of progress. I'm happy with that. Even when you turn it off, you can hear the old spoolie boy. I'm happy. Can you tell? Right, let's crack on. And pow, like that. It's 2 weeks later. As you can see, I've had a haircut, maybe I've had a shave, can't really remember. So what happened since the last clip that you literally just saw of it running? Well, I thought, let's put some water in it. So I put some water in it, and I had a water leak from the header tank. I was like, no problem. Took the header tank apart, cleaned it up, stripped it down, tigged it all up. I was like, right, that'll do, lovely. Put the header tank back in, connected the pipe up. That dodgy fitting that I said about on the side of the radiator, but I was like, yeah, that'll be all right. And I was a bit blasé about it. It was not all right, and it leaked like a sieve. So what have I been doing for the last couple of weeks? Well, been very busy. I've been mapping cars this morning, been doing loads of bits and bobs really, and I haven't had time to work on the van. It's just sat on the ramp for about 2 weeks, since literally 10 seconds, 20 seconds ago in this video. But anyway, I'm down here. I've had a quick half hour, so I've done some bits. I've spoke to a few people about my TIG welding again, and I mucked about with the welder yet again. Cleaned everything up, had a bit of practice on some scrap, and I've got a lot better again. So I cut the fitting off, and then I TIG welded this plate all the way around onto it, drilled a hole all the way through that and into the rad, and re-welded this fitting on here. It's still red hot, but I'm sure you will agree that is not a bad TIG weld for a Have a Go Hero. Hopefully it's not going to leak. I need to pressure test it, but I haven't really got any way of pressure testing it other than fitting it on the van and then just pumping it out with like I've got a cooling system pressure tester, so I've been doing that, just spraying a bit of soapy water on it. So yeah, rad's all done, gonna let that cool down. Once it's cooled down, I need to fit it all up and see how it goes. I think once it's fitted up, I've still got to finish the exhaust and the handbrake cables. I lost the little bracket. There's a really annoying little bracket. I think it sits in here or like that. I can't quite remember, but I remember it hitting the deck. And I thought, oh, I've dropped that, I should really pick it up. I did not pick it up, and now I do not know where it is. There's one on eBay, it's like £25. I really don't want to pay £25 for a piece of metal that I know is rattling around on the floor. Maybe I've chucked it over here, because obviously, as you can tell, I'm a very organised person. So, I'm going to probably quickly pull all this lot out, have a quick look for that bracket, and then I'm just probably going to call it a day to this video, if I'm honest. So in the next video, only because I can't do any more today. But in the next video, I'm going to put all the rad back in. I'm going to plumb it all up, and then I'm going to finish the exhaust, dial in anything else that I feel needs dialing in. I need to put the vacuum manifold on it and stuff like that. Once I've done that, in the next video, it will hit the dyno, so stay tuned. Anyways, I hope you like this video. Like, share, subscribe. Cheers, guys.